What is going on with the Jeep Gladiator? From entire engine swaps as soon as 2,000 miles, faulty clutch components causing the entire car to catch on fire, high pressure fuel pumps blowing up, rear drive shafts completely falling off the car, and even random misfires that Jeep can't even fix. Listen guys, after all the research, there's definitely something going wrong with the Jeep Gladiator. I'm looking for you guys that did all the research so you guys don't have to. I got my sources from reputable websites, reputable forums, asking forums, and Facebook groups directly, and really speaking one-on-one with those people that have had issues. So just kick back and enjoy the show. All right, everyone, in this next clip, what we're about to see is a video that was uploaded to a Facebook group by Jacob R. I believe this is a really crucial clip and really creating the context of how frustrated a lot of these Jeep owners are. And it's usually, I find that it's like a domino effect. When we have one problem, it starts leading to another, and it starts leading to another. And eventually, you're paying for a car that you haven't seen in months. So let's check this video out. Let's see what Jacob has to say. And let's take it from there.
I'm sick and tired of all these problems on this Gladiator, man. I've been having for a month because of high pressure fuel pump failure. Freaking EGR valve ECU grounded to the body. That was gone for another week. Rear axle seal leak. That was gone for a whole week. And you know, the truck's not even, it's over a year old, but I didn't drive it for 7 months out of the whole time. All that time, the only vehicle that was reliable that I had to rely on to get to work in the morning was this 55-year-old truck get to fucking work in the morning because this thing, $54,000, kept fucking breaking down. 55 years old, gets me to work. 1-year-old doesn't even fucking make it.
Hey y'all, really quick, I want to share with you a project that I know you guys are gonna love. It concerns a Jeep Gladiator that my customer reached out to me, I'd say about 3 to 4 months ago. And ever since then, there hasn't been any peeling, fading, discoloration, any bubbling of any kind. Of course, I'm always here to take care of that if it ever does happen. My customer reached out to me saying he wanted to make his car look more militant, and he gave me free range to do it. So the best way I thought about doing is to wrap the car in a matte military green. But in addition to the green, I also added 2 red stripes because I noticed that not only was there red accents inside the car, there's a lot of red accents throughout the truck as well. And I think that was probably his favorite part, was that thick and that thin stripe that goes along the driver's side and the bed of the car. I think he absolutely loved it. But I mean, as you guys can tell with my smile, I am absolutely passionate about wraps. If you guys are in the greater Los Angeles area, Orange County, Inland Empire, and you guys are looking to get your car wrapped, make sure to reach out to me at Get Set Go Wraps on Instagram. That's the best way to find me. All right, so now, although that intro might have been a bit apocalyptic, the truth is really a percentage of all owners experience the issues. Of those that I interacted, about 52 experienced major issues, while about 120 of which experienced mild to really no issues at all. Now, of those that did experience the issues, here's what they claim. Camshaft sensor, misfires, oil consumption, rod bearing failure, high pressure fuel pump, axle leaks, and of course, the death wobble. Please note that although I did gather a lot more information and a lot more concerns, these just happen to be the most common of the bunch. So what I'd like to do now is cover all those recalls and all those issues that Jeep has currently acknowledged to be a problem. Okay, so first on the list is faulty clutch components. I'm not quite sure which component specifically, but there's something in there creating friction that's causing overheating, fire, and damage to nearby parts, which could potentially lead to a loss in the control of the vehicle. Now that's an article by Stephanie Steffen on vehiclehistory.com. To continue through that article, I have one by autobytel.com that claims that the recall is for 2020 to 2021 models with the manual transmission. Now my thing is, those 2 cars that you've seen earlier in the video, those are actually automatic transmissions. The cause of that fire is not really known. Maybe it was they didn't ground the car properly, or maybe it's the automatic transmission also giving that trouble as well. So again, just something for you guys to consider. Automatic transmission could be the issue, but what we have recognized here is the 2021 models to 2020 the 2020 to 2021 models with the manual transmission. Next on the list is the high pressure fuel pump. It reads here that it fails without warning and causes the engine to stall. I believe Jeep has these claims off, but they claim about 7,375 Gladiators to be affected between 2020 to 2022 models. But in my research and seeing so many people claim that the HPFP, which is the high pressure fuel pump, so many people claim this to be the issue. Some have even reported that it exploded because they noticed shards all throughout the engine bay, and when they emptied out the oil, some shards were also in the internal engine. So I could see why this could potentially lead to internal engine failure. Most of that data was gathered by an article by Jeff Bartlett on consumerreports.org. Next on the list is the rear drive shaft. Based on this article here, it looks like they may have incorrectly been assembled without grease in the monoblock joint, which, you know, the consequence to this is essentially the joint overheating, seizing, and cracking. So that would result in a sudden loss of power, and really worse is the shaft completely falling off the truck. Now, I'll confirm this information on Auto Bytel and an article by autosafety.org. These three so far are known recalls. Now, the next one isn't so recognized yet by Jeep, but it's really the engine issues that we're having here. Codes P0300. Supposedly there's no current fixes available. However, there is a bulletin for a camshaft and the camshaft sensor that could be the culprit to these codes. Now, the very last on the list is the death wobbles. Now, it seems to be common amongst all cars, even older Jeeps as well. Some people claim that it's because they changed the suspension and they got bigger tires, that really they just need to get their tires balanced out. However, with the Gladiator, the dealers were assuming that it was because of the labor shortage, that a lot of those important bolts, track bars, stabilization bars, some suspension components weren't really torqued down as spec. So if you're currently experiencing the death wobble, look at this list here and pretty much go at it by order. Now, with all things considered, the Jeep, again, is a really good car. They're actively working towards finding a solution to the issues. But is it a car that I'll consider purchasing out of warranty? Not quite. Unless you decide to do the SRT Hellcat swap. I would say, in my opinion, for myself, buying the Jeep Gladiator is not worth my time, not worth the hassle, and not worth the money. From my own experience in buying cars that were supposed to be reliable and ended up being headaches, I don't want to put myself through that type of torture again. The real question is, would you guys consider buying the Jeep Gladiator, considering that most of these issues aren't resolved and considering that the majority of the people really experience none of these issues? Would you take the risk? Let me know down below. And again, if you guys do have this Jeep Gladiator, what's your guys' experience with it? Have you guys experienced any of these issues? Please comment down below.